Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. I wasn't necessarily going to do just a video on this whole petition situation going around, but then her attorney, Alexee Trevizo's attorney, posted about a polygraph test he plans on using in court, which, as far as I'm concerned, it's a bunch of baloney. So let's take a look at that real quick. It may be kind of hard for you guys to read here. So Alexee's attorney, Gary Mitchell, whom we've all become very familiar with, he filed a notice on the 30th, which was just yesterday as I record this, the very end of the month. He filed a notice of polygraph examination and certificate of service to the court in Alexee's case. I'm less than impressed with this, but I'm gonna go. I'll read it real quick and I'll go over why I don't go with polygraphs. They're very TV, movie, and they're just not reliable. But again, here is the filing from Mr. Gary Mitchell. Comes now defendant Alexee J. Trevizo by and through her attorneys Gary C. Mitchell, PC, and pursuant to New Mexico rules, annotated 11-707, gives notice he intends to use polygraph evidence at trial and hereby certifies he served via email upon the state of New Mexico a link to the following. 1. A copy of the polygraph examiner's report. 2. A copy of each chart. And 3. A copy of the audio or video recording of the pre-test interview, actual testing, and post-test interview taken by the examinee in this matter under question. Respectfully submitted, Gary C. Mitchell. Now here's the thing. I'm not impressed with polygraph tests. The reason being, again, like I said before, they're just not reliable, for one. But let me give you guys a little bit of background on the polygraph test. We're all very familiar with them because we hear about them all the time on, Law and Order, CSI, all those shows that we all like to watch. And they're, like I said, they're big, but a lot of folks just don't see. I don't think a lot of folks realize that they're kind of worthless, really, to be honest with you. The polygraph machine was invented in 1921 in Berkeley, California. Berkeley officer John Larson created the first machine, basing it on the systolic blood pressure test pioneered by psychologist William Moulton Marston, who would later become a comic book writer and create Wonder Woman. Now that to me is the most interesting part of the fact that the man who helped create the polygraph test machine also became a comic book writer and created Wonder Woman, who, as those of us that know, she had the lasso of truth. So I suppose she sort of had her own polygraph machine and, on herself. Marston believed blood pressure changes could show whether someone was lying. The modern polygraph measures a range of physical changes such as pulse and breathing, as well as blood pressure. But the credibility of the polygraph was challenged almost as soon as it was invented. So already in the 1920s, it was already being challenged as not reliable. 90 years, more than 90 years really, after its invention now, the polygraph still has not been accepted by the scientific, legal, or political communities. Yeah, it's not admissible in court, so my assumption is he's just using it as an additional way to throw something else at the wall to try to prove something is true or not true about his client there, Alexee. It's another one of those crapshoots he's got going on, like that there's no witnesses in the bathroom when she was giving birth. That to me was another one. And lastly, polygraph tests can easily be beaten. You don't have to be a trained spy or a sociopath. You just have to understand how to recognize the control questions and augment the reactions to them with techniques such as biting the side of your tongue or solving a math equation in your head. That was a quote from George Maschetti, a former U.S. Army intelligence officer, and he's the co-founder of the website antipolygraph.org. So again, polygraph test, in my opinion, crap. So I don't know what he's trying to prove or not prove to the jury. I don't. So when I read that he did a polygraph test with Alexee, and that he wants to put it in court, I'm sure the state's going to go, whatever, we don't care, because it's not considered actual evidence. So even if he mentions it, it's not, it can be disputed quite easily. So as far as I'm concerned, it's crap. So, all right, finally, the petition that has been going around, and this is actually Daily Mail, but they had a pretty good article on it, but this is all pretty, so far, pretty much factual information. The petition to kick the teen accused of killing her baby by placing it in the hospital trash can off of the New Mexico State University campus emerged last week. Yeah, those that are following the Facebook groups, social media, Reddit, it's all over the place, guys. And it's already over 20,000 signatures from quote-unquote concerned citizens. And of course, Gary Mitchell saying, well, the school is not even that many kids. So I'm like, well, people just don't want her there, Gary. And again, Gary C. Mitchell, who will represent Alexee Trevizo at her upcoming murder trial, he slammed the petition as a bunch of prejudiced nonsense. Just like he slammed social media because, he don't like any of us, really. So, as far as that's concerned, it doesn't bother me in the slightest that he has a problem with the petition, because anything against his little darling Alexee, he's going to be all up against it. So, again, he's basically bitching online, and it's saying it's a bunch of nonsense, and it's just, he's saying that, it's just crap. The closed-minded, biased, and prejudiced signers of the petition, Mitchell told Fox News, would realize that Trevizo did not kill her baby if they had all of the facts. Gary, I don't think you have all the facts there, sir. Because she was the only one in that bathroom. She gave birth to baby Alex, which I still have a problem with the fact that the poor child's name is Alex. And then she put him in a trash bag, like we all have stated, and tied it up and hid it. So he's still playing this whole game of that the baby was born deceased. It was stillborn or miscarriage. So he's playing that all the way to the end. But the baby took a breath. It was proven in the autopsy, and he's going to have a hard time disputing that particular evidence. Of course, here is some of the photos and the videos here. And there is the infamous prom photo, which still disturbs me to this day. And for those that are still wondering, are they still together? Allegedly, they are still together, because we just heard, of course, at the motions hearing that she wants to be able to see her boyfriend, the alleged baby daddy, and go to school with him. But if he's smart, he'll run the other direction, and he and his mom would sue Alexee. But I don't know what's going on in his head. Let's see here. Yeah, she's claiming, according to the Daily Mail, that the baby was stillborn, and her lawyer is arguing the hospital staff killed the baby due to the medications like morphine, which we all know is a bunch of crap. So, yeah. So as we know, the judge is allowing her to go to school. The school did respond by stating that she's not taking classes on campus. So she is doing online learning, which is what I assumed, because that's the one thing I got out of what Gary was saying in his drawn out talk at the motions hearing, whereas the DA didn't have to say a whole lot because she's like, okay. And it looks like the petition's also allegedly referencing that Alexee's pursuing a career in nursing or social work. But again, that's another rumor that's been going around. I'm going to say I have no way to prove or disprove that. So I'm always very, very careful here on the channel about reporting anything that's not a known fact. So take that as you will, because I'm not so sure that that is her major. But yeah. So they do have a lot of these great videos. Of course, there's Alexee in her little cheerleading outfit, obviously pregnant before January of this year. That is not a Big Mac belly, which is, of course, what Gary is insisting. Because if it was all about the Big Macs, Gary, I think that after she gave birth, she wouldn't have been looking so great in that prom dress. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just going back to, he's relying on the fact that he believes she was given too many drugs. Morphine is a horrible cocktail, and he's still on this whole train of that the baby had COVID-19, influenza A and B, and SARS, and I haven't seen that listed in the official autopsy report. So I'm not even sure where he's getting that particular information from. But again, she's currently free, as we know, on that $100,000 bail. And right now she's attending online classes per the university. They did respond to folks that have signed and will create it and sign the petition. So as far as I'm concerned, online, whatever. She can do whatever she wants online. And the school, they don't want her on campus. At the same time, they also don't want to put themselves in a bad way, I think. And these big universities, they don't want to get involved, and because they don't want the other students disrupted. They want to make sure their reputation's intact, and they want to bring in that tuition money from all the other kids. So yeah, so she's taking classes online. I'm pretty sure that her safety would be in question if she was on campus. Devin, I guess, is probably on campus, because he's got zero restrictions, especially now after the two of them are allowed to actually see each other, which I still don't get. But again, we're in the hurry up and wait portion of things, because unfortunately for all of us at this point, nothing else court-wise, unless something changes, is going to happen until 2024. It looks like we have a pre-trial hearing right now. It is set for July 22nd of 2024. So yeah, it's almost a year away. And then the actual jury trial, as of right now, is scheduled for August 26th of 2024. So, I mean, we're talking like a year, and I personally hope she's as uncomfortable and not as, as possible during this time. She doesn't deserve to, be a quote unquote regular college kid, because she murdered her baby, as far as I'm concerned. So so if she's having to stay home and do her classes on Zoom and what have you, well, gee, life is hard for Alexee Trevizo. Anywho, what do you guys think of the whole polygraph situation? Do you think it's also a bunch of bunk, or are you kind of into it? Again, nobody's opinion's wrong, but I just, it's never going to be admissible in court, and there's just so many ways to beat a polygraph test, so I just shrug them off, immediately. And then this whole petition, a lot of folks have heard about it, and I didn't sign it because really it's got nothing to do with me. I think it's more about the locals and the college kids that would be on campus, because as we all know, they're the ones that would have to deal with her being on campus. But let me know what you guys think of all this stuff. I will continue to keep you apprised if anything does pop up in this case. If she's smart, she'll try to keep as silent and quiet as a mouse and stay away from any further publicity. But who knows? She's one that likes to get out there, and her lawyer seems to be all for it. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.